Welcome everyone to what's going to be an amazing transmission for you with myself and the amazing Meg Benedicte of Ascension Revealed. And we are so happy to join you now. We are going to do a deep dive into what is, to me, the most important topic of what's happening on the planet now, which is the planetary ascension that's happening. So this is a timely transition. And we are going to go over the ascension tips, which myself and Meg Benedicte created so that we could have a roadmap for what's going on with the ascension personally. So I felt very passionate to create the ascension tips, especially after all that's been going on for the last 3 years, where opportunities for transformation has happened all over the world and especially on us personally. So the ascension tips provide a clear roadmap, a blueprint to understand what's going on with the ascension. And we know that a lot is going on because we have witnessed massive transformation taking place on the planet as the dysfunctional systems come up to the surface to be revealed and healed. And this is exactly what's going on with all of us personally. As above, so below. The ascension has escalated to a whole nother level. We're talking about planetary ascension. So that's why I felt so called to create the Ascension Tips, which is a simple blueprint of 88 tips in 4 different categories that describes what's going on so we can understand the transformation that is happening to us now, and we can look forward to what we can create in the future. So this is going to be a 3-part program. So this is our free portion, and we're going to have another 2 sessions, March 9th and March 16th, where we're going to go really deeply into the Ascension tips and really go over each one by one so you can understand what they're all about. And you can sign up for that anytime between from now and until March 15th, March 19th, March 9th and 16th. And so for tonight, what we are going to do is share personally what Meg and I have been through with the ascension process that has been going on for a long time. And Meg is definitely has been involved for the last 20 years, even 30 years in the whole ascension process. So she's really gone through a whole process, and she's studied so much about ascension and she knows so much. So I'm going to be sharing about the planetary ascension, and Meg is going to go very deep into what ascension is, its history, and what's actually taking place in the ascension process. And then we're also going to go through an overview of the ascension tips so you can understand what they're about. And then we're also going to be open to questions and answers. So you can ask us personally anything you'd like to know about what we've talked about or what's in the ascension tips. And you can put your questions in the question and answer section in Zoom, and then we'll bring them up at the end. And then the icing on the cake is we are going to do an ascension activation. And this is really powerful. This is something that Meg does actually has been doing for years, so she's very skilled at. And as you know, ascension is not just knowing what's happening, it is experiencing it. And the ascension activations is where we can connect together and really call forth a higher vibration, awareness, and healings that can come through the activation. So at the end, definitely stay around for that, because Meg and I are going to lead that activation. And so what I'd love to do now is introduce you to Meg Benedicte. So she is one of my top ascension teachers. Over the top 3 decades, Meg has been exploring ascension, and she's been on the cutting edge of the ascension process the whole time. She's a pioneer and master healer of the quantum healing and spiritual activations. And in 1994, she was activated during the Northridge earthquake, where she had a Kundalini awakening, and Metatron came to her, and she began a whole personal journey of teachings of ascension, and has been on that for now 30 years or whatever that is, and has been growing her quantum healing, her quantum access program, her healing program, and she offers online programs. And when I after 2012, when I went to look for Ascension, and I'll share more about that later, I looked for who are the top teachers, and Meg was at the forefront. There weren't too many people talking about Ascension, but Meg was there. We connected in Shasta, and we've had this, sisterhood and mission connection to bring the Ascension forward. So Meg, so happy you're here and joining me again for this incredible transmission we're going to give.
Thank you, Deborah. It's always exciting to collaborate and also to connect with all of you. This is how we're building our community, where we're all on this same journey together. And so I'm thrilled to be here with you and sharing with you some of my own personal experiences going through this process. This is my 30th year in it. And so also I've worked with thousands and thousands of light workers and starseeds as clients in healing sessions, activation sessions. So it's given me a really good kind of, peeking in and seeing how everybody is being affected by what's happening on the planet since, well, for me, it was 1994. So January 1994. So it's been, I always tell people it's kind of like my client sessions have been like my university. This is where I really get to see how this is playing out real time with everyone who is actively in the process. So thrilled to be here and share whatever I can to support everyone.
Thank you much. Thank you so much, Meg, for your work and for your continued passion around Ascension and for this partnership to bring through this online program. And so I'm going to share a little bit about why I'm so excited about the Ascension. So for me, I realized in 2012 that as we went through the 2012 transition, which was not the end of the world, it was the end of the era, so much opened up into so many ways after that, multidimensional realities, and so much information and connection started coming out. Right before that, I had gone through what is seen in Ascension as sometimes the dark night of the soul, where I went through a total clearing. It was actually very challenging. I lost my husband at the time. I lost my festival, which was the Harmony Festival, and I lost about $1 million, which was all the money I'd created. So everything that was kind of prominent and important to me went away. And that left me really raw. And either I was going to exit the planet because I was so devastated, or I was going to connect with spirit. So I chose to connect with spirit and connected really strong. And sometimes life does that to you. It just kind of flattens everything so that your choice is to connect with spirit. And after that, I started realizing as I went deep into my meditation and deep into processes that I was really here for the Ascension. And I realized that everything I had done up to that time, because I've always been on the forefront of creating businesses for personal growth, I created the Harmony Festival, which began in 1978 to 2011 and was the major transformational festival of health, spirituality, music, ecology, everything that was evolving in the human consciousness. And I realized that was also for the Ascension process, preparing people at this point. And then it just started to escalate from that time. And I studied with all the Ascension teachers that I could work with. And of course, Meg became one of my top Ascension teachers. And I realized that this is what we are here for. This is the time that we are here for. And then in the last 3 years, everything has escalated. Of course, the whole world went into a dark night of the soul. The whole world went into a time where they had to go and look at the mirror and look at their lives and go into a mandatory spiritual retreat. So this really prompted a whole awakening all over the planet. And that's what's been happening. And you can witness this, you can see this, you see it in your own life, how much has changed in the last 3 years and how many people have awakened all over the planet and how what was currently hidden in the darkness, all the dysfunction of the planet, all the hidden truths are now up, as I said, to be revealed and healed. because none of this carries forward into the next stage of the planetary ascension we're going through. And this has been predicted in so many religions, so many indigenous prophecies, so many ways that this has been predicted, that we would go through these times and then go into a golden age. And that's really what the ascension is. It is coming in and activating your being and your body to the next level. So let me define ascension. Ascension is the accelerated spiritual process that's currently taking place within all planetary life forms, and especially during this very specific evolutionary cosmic cycle. So it's a step-by-step process that continues to evolve layer by layer, which begins with a spiritual awakening and then up-levels you into higher dimensional existence and quantum consciousness. And this comes through with a gradual healing and clearing of trauma, ancestral patterning, where you activate the light body and you evolve into fifth dimensional frequencies. And you have a clear connection with your higher self. You experience deep soul embodiment, and the outcome is living and manifesting in a state of oneness, which is also the love frequency. So that's what we're talking about. And this ascension process has been around forever. I mean, you know of Yeshua, who ascended, Mary Magdalene, Mother Mary, all these icons in our spiritual traditions, and Saint Germain, in the latest traditions. And so that's really what we're talking about, is activating the spirit and the body into higher consciousness and higher functioning. And that's our destiny. That's what we're here to do. But what's uniquely happening right now and is predicted is the planetary ascension. So this is a very unique occasion where instead of just one master awakening like Yeshua and Mary Magdalene, you have people all over the world have come here at this time for this awakening, for this transition, because this ascension is not just happening in humanity. It's happening with Gaia. It's happening with this sector of the universe. It's happening all over. And this is what we came for. This is why we're incarnated on the planet right now. And I've been told if you got a ticket for incarnation at this time, you lucked out. You were very fortunate, because there's so many souls wanting to get on the planet now. Because when you're here at this time, you can activate, you can ascend to the next levels. And so that's what we're talking about. And also, we come in soul groups. Have you noticed in the last 3 years, there's so many soul groups that are connecting and finding each other and recognizing each other and getting each other to remember why they're here and what they're here for with the ascension and what their mission is, what they came for. You may call yourself a starseed as well, having all those memories come back as to why you actually came to help the planet right now. So what's unique about now is what used to be in the mystery schools, and you would have to go for years to train at, is accessible to you now if you can see it and hear it. Sometimes you can just pick up your phone and listen like this to an online interview and get the information, the deep spiritual wisdom that you need to activate and understand and evolve to the next level. So we are so fortunate right now, even though there's so much chaos, because all that is not of the higher function needs to dissolve and go away. What is birthing is really exciting and really amazing. And we know this because there are so many more people that are open to multidimensional realities. There are so many people that understand the galactics. UFO disclosure is coming forward now. The healing of trauma on the planet, the way the culture has really acknowledged that, because the healing of the core wounds is so important to the ascension process. And we'll talk more about that. But the mass interest of the healing of trauma is all part of that. So we're really talking about this affecting every single person on the planet. And so what it's like is a tipping point. And all of us who are here now, who are aware of it, the more you evolve and the more you activate your ascension, the more you support others energetically and throughout the whole world activating the ascension. So it's kind of like popcorn, where there's an ascension, awakening here, another awakening, another awakening, another awakening, pop, 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 pop. And then everyone is going to reach this tipping point, and then we're going to continue to evolve and really evolve into the new earth. That's really what we're talking about, is evolving our consciousness, our being, and our relationship with the planet and the planet into what the new earth is all about. And so I'm sure you've heard that, and we're going to talk about that too, because we do outline that in the Ascension tips. So to me, this is one of the most exciting things that's happening. And it is something to be taken seriously and also not so seriously, to have fun with and let it evolve through you. So that's why I created the Ascension tips, because I saw in studying with all the different teachers that there were similarities that happened in this process of transformation that's happening now. And there were similarities in where we're going and what we can look forward to. So I'm really excited to share with you the Ascension tips, which we will go over briefly. And if you stay with us with the next two programs on March 9th and 16th, we're going to go into them really deeply. And I'll put in the chat room how you can sign up for that. But now I want to bring Meg on because she is, what I love about Meg is she is really an expert in communicating and having us understand what this ascension process really is at its depths and levels. And I've witnessed her continue to bring new information in. And so she is like on the forefront, down the road, seeing what the next level of ascension is coming in and sharing it with us. So Meg, thank you so much for being here and for sharing your wisdom. And I'll let you take it over now.
Okay. Well, you just kind of brought us into the perfect vibration there, Debra. So fantastic. Everything is just popping around the field with everyone here right now. As Debra mentioned, I had my own spiritual awakening in January 17th, 1994. This is the Northridge earthquake in Los Angeles. And personally, I would not recommend a spontaneous Kundalini activation because those are really pretty extreme, but that's how it came through me. So it was just like lightning shooting through my whole biocircuitry. And a walk-in soul came in. This is who is now talking to you. It's an angelic soul came in with the sole purpose of this ascension. And it was living as a soul braid with the other soul for a good over 20 years. So it's very challenging. There's pros and cons for why souls come in as a walk-in. I personally think it's a very rare experience because it is so challenging. But we also have to understand that in a way, the planet has been in a quarantine planet. So it was the only way that I could actually incarnate. So as Debra said, a lot of us wanted that golden ticket. So this is how my soul dropped in with the sole purpose of supporting the planetary ascension. As soon as I had the Kundalini activation, it was very, very quick. Within days, I already started seeing completely through a new perspective, a new lens, if you want to say. 2012 was heading towards 2012. It's almost 20 years later, but it was like, that is our goal. That's what we're heading. That is where the planetary ascension is going to really kick off and get myself situated and get through the whole process by the time I moved to Mount Shasta in 2012. This is a extraordinary experience that we're going through. And one of the reasons why I wanted to contribute to the Ascension tips, because in a way, it is so esoteric, right? It's so kind of beyond what our human mind can really have the capacity to comprehend fully. So it felt like, okay, for those of us who've already kind of had to, through trial and error, go through this process, let's start putting down what are those steps. And so that's why Debra and I we've been popping stuff into these tips for years, right? Oh, okay, now this happened. Okay, this is here. And in 2009, I was guided to write a book about becoming, what are the keys to becoming a divine human. And in 2000, I started my business in the website, New Earth Central. This is where I began to see, out in the horizon, that those of us who are awakening earlier than the majority, we are here to activate this new Earth, and this is what we would call our destination, right? That's our destination. We're in a way extracting out of the old Earth system, and I'll talk more about that in a bit. But we're moving into this new operating system, this new Earth system. This is it's a game changer. It's a whole new reality for us to live in and love in and relate in, create in, and it's about community. I always see it kind of as a circle of light. We're joining the circle of light again, instead of being all out there running, trying to survive on our own. The ascension process is biochemical, it is spiritual, it happens on all your bodies, all layers of you, even your earthly timelines, okay? So that's your incarnations as well. So this is a complete transformation that happens within us. As a walk-in, I went through it quicker than the majority of the world, because I was in somebody else's incarnation, in their own ancestral lineage, in their own lineage, their own genetics, their own karma, their own soul contracts. It was very difficult for me to fulfill my full soul mission and potential in somebody else's incarnation. So it was compelling me to go through the transformational process to basically dismantle that reality or incarnation or timeline, or whatever you want to call it, and genetics and energetics, and begin to activate my own. So this is how I've been working for at least 25 years, working with clients and working on myself. Still doesn't stop. You keep working on yourself. You still keep ascending, and being able to literally at the encodement level start to transform ourselves. We are in a decomposition process of our what I call human reptilian hybrid code. We're starting to drop out, release out, and replace it with our own divine soul code. We're going to go into more of that in a minute, but I think just kind of giving you an overview of, just to add to what Debra already mentioned about what's happening at the planetary level. I'm going to bring the slides up, Debra, and we'll go through. I just put together, this is drawing from some of my coursework at my academy, and share with you. Okay, Ascension Revealed. This is what this is all about. So we're talking about, first we're talking about the planetary ascension, and then we'll go more into how that then, works its way into our personal ascension. But we are actually having a global awakening right now. And it began in 2012, and it has just, so it's been 10 years, and it's been every year. It picks up momentum, it gets stronger, and it spreads. The ancient Mayans, they created a calendar to track this galactic cycle. They called it the Great Purification. And boy, is it ever. So this is where we are being, in a way, bombarded with powerful surges of brilliant galactic photon light and plasma waves. And even, I believe, quantum consciousness that we've not experienced, if ever, or for thousands and thousands of years. This is a big, like a deluge coming into the planetary field. It's affecting the geomagnetism, right? It's actually thinning the magnetic fields of the planet, which is why things are popping open, right? Everything's not so locked in anymore. Those magnetic fields are altering and weakening and thinning and allowing everything to open and expand and ascend higher. So during this planetary ascension, as all this energy is coming in, and it's steady, it keeps coming in, it is literally transforming us at the molecular level. So that light, that photonic light, that plasma light, plasma waves, they're activating what science calls junk DNA, but this is actually dormant DNA within your own biology. It's triggering also internal clearing of three-dimensional density and trauma. So as you're getting the activation of the powerful galactic light, starting to awaken up inside you, your own dormant DNA, you also have this, in a way, kind of an organic purge process that gets triggered. And you may already be experiencing that. This is where we begin to delayer the toxic energy. And this is also energy held within the field that's been building up for your earthly lifetimes, all your earthly lifetimes. So the way I think about it, we're kind of erasing our earthly history. And this is how we become divine humans. It's coming out of all the bodies, physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual. Everything is getting this purification. As souls incarnate on Gaia at this time, every soul comes to a choice point, but every soul has the opportunity to work this ascension plan. Everyone can actively go in and take advantage of the incoming powerful energies, these galactic energies. Use it to do the purging, use it to do the detoxing, clean out the mind conditioning, right? Evolve yourself into higher and higher access of quantum consciousness. And in a way, think about it like you're purging and you're transforming your vessel to become the home for your soul to merge in with you. This is the goal of how we become a divine human. As I mentioned, 2012 was such a powerful time. There's a lot of stuff going on out there. Everyone thought we were going to be lifted off, by UFOs and all this kind of stuff. And I just kept saying, that is not what I'm getting from Metatron. I'm hearing this is actually going to unlock the old matrix power system on the planet, so we actually can begin to really fully ascend. And that's what happened. So if you look at this visual, the solar system on December 21st, the solstice of 2012, we lined up right with the galactic center. The galactic center is 27 degrees Sagittarius in the Milky Way. The reason that I got so turned on with my walk-in chart is my ascendant, my rising is at 27 degrees Sagittarius. So I have a direct portal right to the galactic center with my own walk-in chart, and to be able to be the conduit and, in a way, the messenger, if you want, of all that's starting to come to us from this powerful galactic center. This is a powerful vortex that's spinning at the galactic center. So I also use vortex power in the work that I do. So just know that there's such a divine intelligence, right? A divine design of this planetary ascension plan. Also, recent research, and so science is kind of keeping up with this a bit, right? Metaphysics is expanding our ability to understand more of the universal truths. Science is trying to keep up with it as well. And so we're seeing in quantum physics, I love seeing all the stuff that these quantum researchers, quantum physicists are starting to put out there, but they validated the Mayans' claim that galactic photon light is encoded with divine intelligence, higher consciousness intelligence that causes the DNA mutation. I always think of photons as like the shuttle buses of the galaxy, because in a way they don't have any they're empty in a way. They don't have any density. They take information back and forth through the ethers, right? They're shuttle buses. They're taking quantum consciousness from other time-space realms and bringing it here. This is what's helping to activate us and accelerate us. So not only does DNA absorb the information that the shuttle buses are bringing in, right? The photon light's bringing in, but also our DNA emits light by bioelectricity, right? Our DNA emits light as well. And this informs the particles, our atoms, how to materialize in the physical realm. So this is why you may sense you're changing, you're morphing, you're transforming, because this is the grand, transfiguration that's happening to all of us, especially if you're working with it actively. So this is the purification era. So it's very exciting. We also have, in a way, two worlds simultaneously on the planet right now. We've got the old world, the old Earth, the old operating system, and then we have this new one. I started working and kind of migrating into the new system, the new Earth system, probably around 2007. So it's been a good 15 years of learning how it works, helping ground it into the Earth plane, having it be an active alternative reality for people to move into. And so let's talk about the two systems, because they're so different. And the more that we pull our power, our energy, our light out of the old system, it helps to also, in a way, dismantle it. So think of it that way. The more that we come out, the more that we pull out, the more that we come into the new system, everything is at perfect order and how this is transforming. All right, so I think of it too, kind of like what's happening on this global awakening, like a new renaissance, kind of like how, we went in the Middle Ages, right? From the dark ages of everyone was illiterate into this renaissance where we had the most exquisite art that's being produced. So in a way, that's a similar shift that's happening in the planetary consciousness and the collective right now. We're in this new renaissance, this consciousness shift from this old operating system to the new one. All right, so let's talk about where we came from. We were all pretty much, unless you're probably a very young little crystal child, we were all born into this hierarchy system. This is the old Earth operating system, and it is a power system that is dominated by the patriarchy. It's fascinating when you really start to kind of deep dive into like numerology, and we find that in numerology, 1 represents the masculine and 2 represents the feminine. And so we're moving away from, we finished the thousands millennium. That was a dominant patriarchal millennium, and we're moving into the 2000s millennium, which now we're seeing is an infusion of more of the divine feminine to balance us. We're not moving from a patriarchy to a matriarchy. We're moving from a patriarchy into a collaborative circular system of community. And so just as I put together this diagram, we have this top-down hierarchy power structure. Most of us don't do well in that system. We're not designed, especially visiting starseeds, we're not designed for that system, because mostly it pushes us down into the lower tiers. And we're not designed for all of that competition and ego fragmentation. When you're in a hierarchy system like that, there's only 1 or 2 or a few who have everything. They have all the power, all the resources, all the money, all the land, everything. They have all the deciding policies, everything. So we don't do well in that system. This is why probably many starseeds struggle. They struggle to manifest. They struggle to make a living. They struggle to even, be happy in this old hierarchy system. In spirituality, no one is at the head of the table. And this is where we learn how to move into the circular system. All right. Triangle in esoteric symbology represents the masculine. The circle represents the feminine, the goddess, the infinity, the whole, the spiral, and community. And so we're moving from ego-driven, top-down, to heart-driven. So this is they're 2 very different systems. If you want to just stick with computer languaging, think of it like you're moving from like Windows operating system to Apple iOS. They are totally different and operate different. And you have to learn the new system, right? You have to deprogram the old system and learn and reprogram into the new system. So this is a very big kind of a transition. This is why it's already been 10 years since 2012, as we're transitioning from the old system into the new system. So what I just reviewed is what's happening all around the world. This is the planetary system. Now let's go talk about how does that translate to each and every one of us, because we were born into that planetary system. That hierarchy is running in us as well. So let's talk about how that shows up. We function within this hierarchy system where it's ruled by the dominant ego. And as you can see, top of that triangle is that left brain of ours. This is the egoic kind of unconscious mind, analytical mind, judgmental mind, controlling mind. And it it basically, the left brain can only perceive the 3 dimensions of the physical realm. In order for us to merge during this ascension process with the soul energy, right, to become divine humans, you need to dismantle this ego control hierarchy. It's a framework, it's a system, it runs in all of us, and it needs to be removed. You're shifting from this new dynamic, say, so you look at the difference. The hierarchy within us is ego driven, it's dominated by the mind, it competes for the top, it's externally focused, there's no inner connection at all, it's blocked, it's dense, it's stuck, it's very low vibration, and it's all about me. It's controlled by the egocentric mind. We're trying to break that down, dismantle that system, create a sacred vessel for the soul to merge in, and the ego will fight that. It usually will get right at that crown and block it all. So this is where we have to go, as Debra mentioned, you know, kind of the dark night of the soul. This is where we start to learn how to master our own energy field, learn how to master our own mind, learn how to master our emotions. We start learning how to do a spiritual practice, all these things that help to get into a more circular flow of energy, which is what we're shifting into, right? We're bringing down the framework of the ego control hierarchy, and we're moving more into a higher vibrational dimensional operating system, which is, as we see here, circular. We start to flow with energy instead of trying to control it. We collaborate with community. I always see this new system as, I call it the circle of light, because no one is controlling it. Everyone is collaborating in this circle of light. Everyone has their own unique gift and contribution. Nobody is superior, nobody's inferior, right? And it's also internally focused because it's heart-centered. It's not controlled by the ego mind. It's heart-centered, it's open, it's expanded, it's quantum. And this way, then, we are starting to learn how to live in a whole different, it's a life-changing, whole different way of being, like, relating to ourselves and relating to others and relating to our beloved planet. It's a whole new flow of energy. When we're in the ego hierarchy, there's no flow of energy. People say, I can't even feel anything. And I couldn't either when I first activated. I couldn't feel anything. I had to trust something was working. As I continue to do my activations, we are disconnected through the left brain control of the ego. We're disconnected from spirits. This is where we go through the steps to reconnect with our divinity, with our spirit, with our soul, and with this beautiful new operating system. So this is it's called, if you've heard about the Merkaba Taurus, it's a toroidal circular new earth operating system, and it's active and alive on the planet now, available to everybody. And it's very exciting to get in and create and love and relate in it. It's well, it's beyond, I think, what anyone can imagine. So this is why Debra and I are so excited to share about such a powerful shift that's happening on the planet right now. Okay, Debra, I'm going to pop back over to you.
Great. Thank you, Meg. Beautiful. That's why I love you. She really explains in depth how to understand exactly what's going on. And I want to invite you again to join us for the whole series and to sign up under Ascension Revealed if you want to join us for March 9th and 16th. And also, if you have questions, go ahead and put them in the question section in the Zoom, or if you put them on chat, we'll see them there as well, because we'll be answering them. But now we're going to go into the Ascension tips, because for me, as Meg said, this is a lot to understand, and life is already pretty complex for all of us. So I wanted to make it simple so I could understand this transformation that's happening in me and what I should be doing about it. What are the most important things I can do to foster the healing and the evolution that's happening that I know I want to take advantage of? And so what we're going to do now is share an overview of the Ascension tips. On March 9th and March 16th, we're going to do a deep dive and really go into all of them so we understand that. But for now, we'll give you an overview. And I'm assuming a lot of you have already downloaded it because they're free. You can get them on ascensionnow.org, ascensionnow.org, and you can download them. And if you don't have them, you can download them right now and go through them with us as we go over it. And I'll also put it in the chat so you can have that link there. 1 second. And so again, what I shared is we came up with 88 tips, and this, so you know, this is an evolving project. This
Yes.
is something we're just going to end with. This evolved with something we started about 4 years ago. And then after the pandemic and all that happened, it was clear that so much more new information came in and glimpses of what the new earth is going to be like, that we expanded it to 88 tips. So it's 88 tips in 4 different sections to just make it really easy to see where we're going with this. So the first section is awakening, which is a guide to beginning your ascension journey. The second section is complete transmutation, and that's part of what Meg was referring to, and we'll talk more about, where your whole life, your whole being, and really alchemically, your whole self transforms. And this is an activation of the light body and clearing and healing, and you really bounce up to a whole nother reality. Section 3 is soul embodiment, and that's where you really start to be it and live it. So your life becomes more and more the magical 5th dimensional reality. And section 4 is really exciting because it's the divine human in the new earth. So it's previews of coming attractions of what we're here to create together, building new earth. And what is a new earth going to be like? So again, we're going to go through these sections one by one. And I'll share about it first, and then Meg's going to come in with her wisdom and even go a little bit deeper. And again, put your questions in, because after that, we will do some questions and answers so we can really address you personally. So again, you can download it at ascensionnow.org, ascensionnow.org. And again, if you want to sign up for the whole series, it's ascensionrevealed.com, ascensionrevealed.com. So the first section is the awakening. And so this happens to everyone. It's different for everyone. Sometimes souls come in already awakened and they know why they're here and they just get right on with it. Sometimes souls have to go through a radical experience, like I would call my dark night of the soul, a level of awakening that really got my attention. Sometimes people have a near-death experience. They go to the other side and they come back a whole nother person. And sometimes it just opens. You just start like a flower start to open. So I want to say this is all different for everyone. The Ascension Journey is as unique as your fingerprints, as your body, as your life. But there are similarities that happen to everyone. And that's what we're going to talk about. So the first step is to realize your awakening and really fully embrace your awakening. Give passion to your awakening. And this will naturally come up with you as you'll start to more be aware of spiritual things in the world. Your preferences will change. And most everyone that is on this or listening to this is in that or has already been through that. So this is where, and you also have to be prepared for a complete transformation in your life. So you can't like embrace the awakening and then say, oh, I changed my mind. This is something where you start on the journey and you really embrace everything that happens to you, even if it doesn't seem right in the moment. Like you lose your job. And of course, that's challenging to begin with. And then after you go through it, you realize that job didn't serve your ascension, did not serve your higher self, did not serve you blossoming fully. And by losing it, you finally connected with your mission and got the energy to do that. So these kind of changes will be happening. You have to move, you know, and it's for up leveling you to another level of your existence. And in the awakening apart, you start to become that you start to realize that you are a multidimensional being. So you get beyond thinking you're just this human suit, you're this personality, you're the programs, but you realize that you are so much bigger than that. Your awareness is so much bigger, and that you can operate in many different realms. And also you start to connect with Mother Earth much more deeply and realize that she is a spiritual teacher, she is a healer, and you start to connect with her and relate to her because you are going to be ascending with her, and she can energetically heal you. And as you go into meditation with her, that's really important as well. And you start to figure out and develop your spiritual practice, because it's really important to not just be in your doing all day, which I know is a lot for these days, just surviving on the world, but you want to be in the being and the connection with your source and your higher self. And that means having a meditation practice or having a time where you stop and you allow source to come in. It may be a walk in nature where you can just open up, or it may be getting up early in the morning and the first thing that you do is do your meditation and allow for the energies and the insights and the connection with spirit to come in. And what we're really talking about in this first level is to understand what we're doing is we're raising our vibration. And you've probably heard that before, and it's very true, and that's on all levels. And become aware of that. See when you get into negative thinking, how that lowers your vibration, and then you can't manifest, you can't be open to the magic and the synchronicities and the insights that are coming in. So you want to keep your vibration high on all levels with everything that you do, with food, with relationships, with what you consume, with what you give out. It's really important. And then realize you're going to start to get downloads and connections with your higher self that will be speaking with you and taking you on this journey, and also your guides and possibly ascended masters, like what happened with Meg, where Metatron came in and became her primary teacher. This is what's available to us now, because the masters and guides are here to help us, because we're all in it together. And as we succeed in our ascension, everyone exceeds. And one of the main also important points is love. Love is the bottom line of it all. So it's being in a state of love and beginning with self-love, because really you have to understand that you are the divine and get beyond the negative thinking or what you think you're not, and just be a source and conduit of the divine. And so that means really cultivating self-love within you and being love and having unconditional love for everything, because love is the fifth dimensional energy, and that's really where we're going in the new earth. There's actually 22 tips, and I've only listed about 10, so you'll see more in the tips. And I'd love Meg to just comment more on this stage of awakening, because I'm sure she's seen so many people go through this and help people in this stage.
Yes, and yes, it is very personal, as you mentioned. So everyone has in their own unique way that they start to shift their awareness. I should I go through the slides, Deborah, on the four phases?
Sure. Uh-huh.
Again, I'm just drawing this from some of my coursework in my academy, but this is, make sure I'm pulling up the right one. Let's go here. As Deborah was saying, this first phase, and it can happen suddenly, like it was for me, or it can be gradual over time, kind of like a upswell, right? You know, just more and more awareness and awakening happening. Don't worry, however it happens for you, that's part of your blueprint, right? It's part of your soul's ascension plan. And we just have to follow what the plan is. And so let's talk about what is this spiritual awakening? What's happening? As I mentioned earlier, because we're having so much of this kind of unmeasurable galactic energy coming onto the planet, and it is impacting the geomagnetic field. So it is thinning these, what I call veils. You can hear, they're energetic veils or separation membranes. They're even like time barriers. All of that has kept us disconnected from the spirit realm. And as those barriers or veils continue to morph and thin and dissolve, this happens to support the awakening. So you begin to become aware of a new vantage point or a new perspective, where you're not kind of under the control of that ego hierarchy, just running automatically, almost like you're robotic, right? It's just commanding you, controlling you, running you. Now you begin to see as the observer, watching how the ego is controlling you. And that's the game changer. All of a sudden you're like on the sidelines watching this, like, oh my God. And that's when the awakening happens. You begin to observe and gather data, and it's from a more higher, wiser consciousness, and it's more neutral and detached and no judgment. You're just observing. And this is where we start. I started journaling at that point. I'd never done that in my life. I started journaling at that point because I wanted to really kind of document everything I was starting to observe. And it just takes you deeper and deeper in. You're moving away from that external me focus. You're starting to get pulled in and observing all that's happening within you. And so instead of this left brain, analytical ego mind controlling the thoughts, the feelings, the reactions, this internal shift occurs. And you begin to observe your daily reality from spirit, from this higher, wiser self, from this more divine perspective. You're consciously watching your ego self and your human life from this higher perspective. Spiritual awakening, it's life-changing. And Debra and I, we've built these tips for spiritual awakening. You'll start to see how it impacts you in all areas of your life. You're going to go through a major transformation in the mind and the emotions, in your physicality, as well as your perspective, your relationships, where you live, your vocation, your desires, your passions. Everything is under review. Everything is being kind of tested out to see if that's actually authentic or not. And it's a data gathering state that you go into. It's very ecstatic because you're no longer under the control of kind of the robotic ego mind anymore. You're starting to actually sense or feel that higher, wiser part of you, that spirit that is you, and the spirit realm. So spiritual awakening, it's the bomb. It's great. It's wonderful. And it takes you then, of course, into the transmutation stage. So do you want to talk about that first, Debra?
Sure. Thank you, Meg.
You're welcome.
Yeah. So this is where the rubber meets the road, really.
Right.
This is where it really starts to happen, the transmutation. And we're talking about a complete transmutation. So we're talking about all phases of your life, and actually an alchemical transmutation inside your physical body, your light bodies, and everything that goes on. And so the first thing that needs to happen, which Meg has talked about a lot, is you need to extract your consciousness and your energy from the global matrix program and really get out of the matrix. So don't be conditioned or fall prey to these programs that are in there, and learn what your programs are and how to be in control of your programs and have them not be you. And that's a lot of that can happen with a lot of basic personal growth work, where you just become aware of your childhood programming, the programming of your society, and you learn to clear that and heal that and come up with your sovereign being. And this includes mastering your energy on all levels. Master your thoughts, your emotions, your energy flow, because everything's energy. And during this phase too, you want to enhance your physical body, your energetic body. So a lot of people will just be compelled now to start, and I'm sure a lot of you are doing this, to eat good food, to have good thoughts, to have exercise, to really be able to expand your physical and energetic body to hold more and more light and be able to process more and become more capacity for it. And the key point is you've got to do your shadow work. And this is why this is so popular right now on the planet, because everything that has been hidden has come up to be revealed, and that includes your personal life. This happened during the pandemic, where a lot of things that we just didn't think about because we were just in the do of the life. When you stop, finally, there's stuff in your relationship that's just not functional, that has to be dealt with. It's a reflection of the negativity you carry within your body, and it's going to come up and be right in your face until you deal with it. So that is what's going to happen in this. And so bless it and thank it and just go in there and do the work. Sometimes it's really good to work with ascension teachers like Meg, and there's other ascension teachers. Sometimes it may be shamanic work, or there's lots of processes that can get you to go really deep and really understand the core wounding that's there from your childhood, from past lives, from ancestral patterning. Wherever it is, it's important to go in there and clear it so you can be free, because that's what holds you in the matrix and into the negative thinking, which doesn't allow you to rise up to this new level of consciousness and vibration that we're talking about. And also, it's about healing your limiting core beliefs, because the ascension is unlimited. You can manifest and create anything. So that doesn't work if you have very limited beliefs. And that's only a program. It's not real. So that's what you've got to become conscious of, is where you stop from going all the way that you know you could. And then this phase is really wonderful too, because once you start to clear all that, then your intuition starts to open up, which is a natural ability that we have that as a child we're not taught to use, although some of us came in more clearly and can use it, but you really start to operate and function at these whole other levels of intuition. And you'll watch synchronicities come in. And I'm sure many of you are experiencing that now in life. Life is about synchronicities. When you have a thought, when you have a manifestation, then all of a sudden something pops in and that fulfills that. And so you start to live your life through synchronicities and through magical realities. And another part of this phase is having really good, deep family connections. So we're not just talking about blood family, we're talking about soul family. And in this stage, you start to attract people in your life that you have deep spiritual soul contracts with, and a whole groups of people. And this is happening for a lot of us now, especially during these last few years, where we've found so many people online that we feel connected with, that think and live and want to create a world like we do. So this is all happening now for all of us. And another really exciting part is you start to be aware of the galactic energies that are coming in, and really tune into the portals and the gateways that are available. Because a lot of ascension acceleration can happen quickly if you really maximize the equinoxes, the eclipses, the solstice, and the energies that just come in. There are so much energies that are being transmitted to us now from the galactic center to help activate our DNA and activate us forward. And the more you release the negativity and become more sensitive to it, the more it can allow you to do that, especially in meditation, or when you go to sacred sites, anywhere on the planet where it's highly activated, where you can receive this. And then the other really important thing is to start to develop a really strong relationship with your guides and ascended masters, because they are here to assist. I myself, I get up in the morning for very early meditation, and I bring in those ascended master guides that I feel very connected with, and they don't just barge into your life. There is a soul agreement and a request to come in and work with them. So I invite them into my life to help me create and manifest everything. So you start to create these relationships that totally empower your life. And again, love is the bottom line. Living in the frequency of love is the bottom line for everything. And again, this is so important. Love of yourself and love as you manifest through the world is really important in this phase as well. So Meg, would you like to take it another deeper step of what this transmutation phase is about?
Yes, so let's go even more into this transmutation phase. This may be a new concept to you. I find this ascension process is taking advantage of all this incoming light. And think of it like you're using the light to transmute the shadow. Kind of keep it simple, keep it easy. We're becoming these conduits, right? We're becoming beings of light, and we're using the power of the galactic light to transmute shadow. And when we talk about shadow work, I think of shadow as just anything that isn't in love and light. So it's just, it could be just heartbreak, it could be pain, it could be anything that is not pulsing in love, vibration, and light. So we use the light to help lift it up, right? Help transmute that shadow aspect of it. So this transmutation phase, also, even though we're working through the 4 phases as if they're sequential, I find that you could spin back and go back and do transmutation and then go back to being more in the divine human. And now there's another little bit to transmute. So just know it could be circular because we're going into more of that circular way of living, but we're describing them as the 4 phases. So we'll stick to that. Okay, transmutation phase. This is when the human energy field typically functions. Think of it like this image, stacked layers of density, all right? And underneath all those layers that have been stacking up probably for multiple lifetimes in your earthly history is this beautiful, gorgeous, dormant light body. Every single starseed light worker who has visited here has come in with a very elaborate designed light body. It's waiting to get activated, waiting to get turned on. Once we can get some of this heavy stuff off it, right? Get some of the density off it, start to get more light into it. Okay, so very, very just easy terms. We're delayering these heavy, dense layers that are smothering a dormant light body. And even when I'm moving these out of me, I can feel it's like, oh, there's so much weight, they're really heavy, they're really dense. This is a lot, like, especially if you're moving like layers of emotional pain and trauma. Whoa, those suckers are heavy. Okay, so we're getting this stuff off us, getting them out of the body, out of the aura, and then bringing the light in. It gets more easier. You can bring more light in. But when we first start with the spiritual awakening, it's kind of difficult because think of it like we're trying to get spirit into like a dense rock. That's how low and heavy and dense our energy is. So we go through this process, continue. That's what's called ascending. You're sending up into higher vibration, ascending up into a lighter field, so you can start to merge more of spirit, more of your soul into your body. Also, as I mentioned earlier, that mind of ours, if it's being dominated and controlled by the ego, it doesn't want to have any of this happening, right? So it could be where you're being blocked by your own mind, by all this mental programming. We can also have ancestral core beliefs that we're born into or are coming in from past lives as well. And then just that mental chatter that can go on in the background. It's very distracting and mostly negative. And so this is where meditation is so important, because you can start to get into the quiet, still point, right? And quiet down that mind and start to connect to these layers that are calling our attention to be healed and transmuted. So you're moving out these stuck heavy emotions, you're moving out the trauma, you're moving out all that mental programming running, right? It's all delayering. And as you do this, you begin to open up this chakra pillar. This chakra pillar is the main conduit of your light body. And so this also, I find there's a lot of stuck emotion in the chakra centers as well. So we want to open up that chakra pillar. This is the sacred vessel that the soul comes down in, right? You're bringing down more of your soul energy into your chakra pillar to be able to merge the human self and the divine self within your body, within your core, within your heart. So we start to delayer the heaviness, the density. We get lighter and lighter, and we begin to feel, as I mentioned earlier, I couldn't feel anything the first couple of years, but I had enough psychic clairvoyance. I could see it was working. I couldn't feel it though. I was so buried under the density. I couldn't feel anything, but eventually I started feeling, it was very light, but then it got stronger and stronger, this inflow, outflow of the Kundalini life force in more of our circular toroidal operating system. So during the ongoing transmutation phase, right, you're working your way down the dense layers of stuck emotions, unhealed trauma, shadow interference. This is coming in possibly from the astral plane or past lives. We also have incarnational karma that we're resolving. There's ancestral patterning. Let's say you have like a lack pattern from your family, right? Or some kind of fear pattern that you were born into in the ancestral pattern. Those got to go. So we're moving out the mind conditioning. We're moving out those patterns and programs, so we can actually become this beautiful, clean, clear vessel for the soul to merge in. So transmutation stays. I've been doing this for almost 30 years, and I still have stuff cleaning out. I just want you to know that, like, it's not where it's, how people ask, well, how long will this take? They're thinking, a month or even a year. Just, it really depends on you and your history here on Earth, how I haven't been here. I very few times I've visited here. But if you have, hundreds or thousands of incarnations, there's stuff to clear. Okay. So just know everyone works their way through the layers at their own pace, their own comfortable pace. But what I found is once this is activated and it's happening, even your outer life will help to trigger these layers to come up. So this could be where I found, like, even I was in the corporate world for years, and you would somehow, it's interesting how that all happens. You find yourself working for a group that just completely mirrors your ancestral family pattern. So, the outer reality is mirroring the inner reality. So your outer reality will help you identify. That's why I started journaling what I was observing. Helps you identify, well, what are these layers? What do I have here? What do I need to be aware of? Where am I out of balance? Where am I wounded, right? These need to be revealed so you can really focus your time and attention on working on clearing and healing and mending and repairing and becoming this sacred vessel for the soul to move through you. So very, very exciting and challenging at times, but I see constant improvement as I go through this transmutation process. Debra.
Thank you, Meg. Incredible as always. And just sharing again, on March 9th and 16th, we're going to go through much more, because there's 22 tips, and we're going to go deeper into them and give more understanding and processing and answer more questions on it. So if you want to join the whole series, it's ascensionrevealed.com. And so section 3 is soul embodiment, which is getting to the fun stuff where you really start to experience the ascension process after you've done all the clearing and you've done. And I want to echo what Meg says. This is a linear presentation because we're on a piece of paper that goes from 1 to 88, but the world is not like that. It's definitely spiral and circular and moves. So, and again, this is your own journey. So however it shows up for you is perfect. Whatever your higher self, brings to you, and whatever your healing process is perfect. So embodiment is when you really start to experience the ascension process in your world, and you start to experience what it feels like, what it is like to operate in fifth dimensional reality, more than not. And of course, you go back and forth as we're evolving forward, but it's where you really start to live all this. And that includes living in the now, as we got the transmission from Eckhart Tolle to our culture. the now moment is really where you access everything. So instead of having your being way ahead in the future or somewhere in the past, you are in the now and you're accessing all realities from the now moment. And another great thing about the ascension is because your body becomes so activated and you're releasing all the dense poison and trauma and all that, your body starts to regenerate and you start to get more healthy and you start to get younger. And that's definitely one of the side benefits of the ascension is you start to feel and experience more and more youth. So really call that in this process as well. And you start to live from the portal of your heart, because really the heart is where it all comes from. And the heart is where we're going to live from in the new earth and the fifth dimensional reality. So instead of the mind, you start to live and be and command from your heart. And you start to understand what it means to be in fifth dimensional consciousness, which is unity consciousness, which is oneness, which we all know about, we all talk about, but it's where you really start to live, be, and manifest from that. And within that, your powers of manifestation start to grow and become incredible, where you can really think a thought and command it forward, let it go, and then it manifests for you, because that's really a superpower of the new earth and the fifth dimensional reality, where you can totally manifest. And a lot of other superpowers are going to come online, like we talked about intuition, or being able to bilocate somewhere else, or astral travel, or even be able to do telekinesis, where you could move objects. These kind of things will be normal in the new earth, in the new reality. So they start to come online at this level as you clear and heal and raise your vibration up. And what this is about, as Meg referred to, is activating the dormant DNA. And this is where right now we're only operating maybe 2 or 3 strands. We have 12 to 144 that are accessible to us. So as we heal, as we allow the new vibrations to come in, and as we consciously move forward, we're activating our DNA to new levels. And that's where all these superpowers come on, which includes activating the light body and the Merkaba Taurus, as Meg suggested. So you start to live more in your light body than just thinking you're this human suit, and your whole being becomes lighter and you operate in a less dense way. And when that happens, your mission starts to drop in, because we're talking about not doing this just so that we personally can have a better life. A lot of personal growth movement is just to have everything we can have, be everything we can be, and all that's great. That's a side benefit to really being in service, being in love, and really serving humanity during this part. And everyone came in with a mission, with a gift, and this all gets revealed. And once you start living your mission, it is really exciting and really fun, and magic happens everywhere. So again, that's just a few of the tips of this section, and we'll go into them more in our future programs. But I'd love to invite Meg to come in and expand on this incredible phase of soul embodiment.
Okay, so yes. So this is, as we're preparing the vessel, it's becoming the home. This is becoming your divine home as a human. And what I've been noticing over time, as Debra mentioned, is the crystallization occurring within the molecular level. This is extraordinary, where we are converting from carbon-based density to crystalline cells that live on light. This is where we're already changing from living on like dense emotion and dense, dead animals, right? We're evolving and ascending, where we begin to live and thrive on this crystalline light. Quite profound. And this is all happening as we go through this process. That's one of the many benefits of the transmutation stage. So becoming a divine human, let's go drop into that quick here. Soul embodiment. So during the delayering process, right, you're clearing all this density, inertia, emotional trauma, toxins from the chakras, the organs, the nervous system. So many of us have so much. I have so much PTSD just lodged in my nervous system. This is what's still coming out from childhood abuse. That's a lot to work with, right? That's getting kind of literally, you're getting in and cleaning the chemicals out of it, right? The toxic chemicals out of your nervous system. So important. And you, as Debra said, you find who is your, your guiding help, right? It could be a energy healer. It could be an acupuncturist. It could be a bio. I worked with breath workers. I worked with acupuncturists. It can be somatic trauma therapy. Like what you resonate with, go and have some support system in place as you move through this, because this is deep work, right? Deep healing, deep healing, deep work. And you're opening and clearing this channel, right? This beautiful chakra pillar, and activating the Merkaba Torus, which is a double star tetrahedron geometry, for the soul energy to descend and merge with the human self. So we're getting all the layers, cleaning them up, healing up, and at the same time, we're activating that dormant light body. Your soul light frequencies start to fuel your light body. Your light body is designed like a engine to run on your own unique star light, your own soul light. Nobody else's light can run it. It's your own original soul light that runs your Merkaba Torus. So just think about that. They're each and every one so unique. So if someone tells you, I can give you the light to run your Merkaba Torus, I would say, no, you can't. Okay, just want to clarify that. Everyone is already designed to run their own light body on their own soul light. And as that starts to activate, how I find it, it's in the center, core center, heart, solar plexus, at where the double star tetrahedron Merkaba overlap is embedded in there, encoded in there is your soul blueprint. I see it somewhat like kind of like an architectural blueprint, right? It has all the code and instructions and master plan for your ascended life. You came in with all this already designed, encoded, ready to get turned on. So if you're thinking, well, where do I get this? It's already there, waiting inside you. Okay, you don't have to go anywhere else. It's already there, waiting for you to connect to your beautiful soul light and start bringing that into your body every day that you can. Your soul magnetism begins to also increase. So let's talk about that. We're electromagnetic beings. So we have both electrical light current running through us, and we have magnetic fields that wrap around the organs and the chakras, right? So we're electromagnetic. Electrical light is the masculine aspect, heart magnetism, feminine. We need to use both. This is our dual nature. We need to use both. So as you bring in more of your soul light, you're turning on your light body, electrical, and you're turning on your magnetic field, your magnetisms. And this really starts to grow and increase at your heart center. As Debra was saying, when you light this up and you activate it, this is where you really start to draw in those synchronicities. This eliminates all that hard effort, and struggle and survival and all that. Your own soul magnetism is bringing in what matches you, supports you, nourishes you, right? This is so important to get this all lit up. And then we're leading from the heart. I can remember when Metatron was guiding me to start to shift into the new Earth hologram. This is years ago, and he said, think of it like you're a downhill skier, right? You're putting your heart into it. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, because your heart's going to pull you into it. Your heart's going to lead you into it. The more that you embody the soul in your heart center, the soul leads us on our path of light. So the heart is our doorway in. The heart is our access into this new Earth. And so the more that you feel your heart, well, I first had to get in and heal my heart. My heart was all locked up and guarded and closed up and full of pain. So I had to do some work there. I couldn't even breathe. That's why I worked with the breath worker, right? Because it was such a shallow breath because I couldn't get anything moving in my chest. And so doing the healing work, lifting off all that pain and torment and trauma, and opening this heart so it can fill with love, fill with joy, fill with your soul essence, fill with your soul light. It's a game changer. And then your heart magnetism is starting to work for you. It also ignites, as you're igniting your blueprint, your master plan, it ignites more of your soul mission, right? And ignites more of your soul purpose. People say, well, I don't know what my soul purpose is. I said, well, first get your soul inside you, because how else are you even going to know who your soul is? Otherwise, it's really just kind of a concept, right? It's outside us somewhere, and we just are imagining. Get the soul in you. Start to feel, oh, what does my soul feel like? What is it interested in? What is it, what's it passionate about? What is it like? What is it not like? Get the soul in you so you can start to learn who you are as a divine being, why you're here, what are your special gifts, and what you're here to contribute to this planetary ascension. As we're moving out of ego, me, we start to shift into, how can I serve the greater good, right? I'm here as part of the oneness, right? The whole, the community. How can I support the community, support the greater good with my own soul mission, my own soul gifts? These all just kind of naturally start to come alive inside us as we do the soul embodiment phase. And as we're talking also in this phase 3, this is where we activate that dormant light body. So we're talking about the double star tetrahedron. This is the Merkaba. It starts, that's the geometry that begins to swirl the magnetic fields that create the torus continuum. So this is, again, look at all that biocircuitry, start getting your soul light in you, get your chi moving in you. Acupuncture really helped me to open up the circuitry, right? So I could get my energy running up and down. So do whatever you take. If you don't feel anything, you need to start opening up those channels, opening up the biocircuits again. As you're delayering this physical density, the infusion of the galactic light begins to activate this beautiful light body and your blueprint. And your own soul light body includes the human energy field, comprised of this complex network of biocircuitry operating within interconnected layers of electromagnetic fields that extend outwards, right? Keeps getting bigger and expanded and extending multidimensionally. And this light body, it's the foundational vessel for your soul energy, which is the waves that connect and interact with the physical human body, which is the particles of matter. Just basic physics, energy has been proven to be actually wave particles, both a wave and a particle. Problem is because we came into this very polarized earth plane, and we've been controlled by the ego hierarchy, we've only been able to access the particle field of atoms. We haven't been able to connect to our other side, which is our wave side, which is spirit. Our dual nature is particle waves, spirit and physical. So this is where, as we break free of those layers, right, we break free of the ego control of the left brain, we begin to reunite, go into unity consciousness of our dual nature, particle and wave, right? Human, physical, and spirit, soul. So this is very important that all these pieces fit together. It's like a puzzle. It creates this very complex and elaborate and pretty amazing process that we're in. So these electrical impulses are transmitted through the nodal points and meridians into the physical organs. Debra was talking about the gates. These nodal points are your gates into your own physicality, right? Into your own biology, into your organs. But then the universe also has this biocircuitry in a way, right? It also has nodal points or gates or stargates, gateways that open and allow more of that beautiful galactic light to come through. So this is again where our own energy field mimics the galactic field. It's pretty phenomenal. So this light body includes the 12 chakra channel. As you see, the double star tetrahedron Merkabah template. The heart portal, we'll do a little bit of that in the activation today. That heart portal opens us to the quantum field, your biocircuitry. It also includes in your light body, your earthly Akashic records, and the soul blueprint for your master plan. So all of that is here waiting for us to turn on. And it's designed to sustain and support the embodiment of the divine soul presence. We've got everything we need here. We just need to go through this process and turn it on. And pretty soon then you're transfiguring from the human double, what Debra was mentioning, the 2-strand DNA that keeps us locked in duality. As we begin to clear all this out, delayer, we're opening and activating multiple strand DNA that open us to multiple dimensional experience. So we're breaking free of, in a way, the lockdown of duality that has been basically devolving humans for thousands and thousands of years. So as we clear that and we begin to activate more of our own soul DNA held within your blueprint, held within your light body, you begin to crystallize your galactic DNA. So let's say, for example, you are a visiting soul from Pleiades. What we're seeing happen is the human hybrid code is dissolving and decomposing, and it allows your Pleiadian human hybrid code to activate while you're still in a human body, to eventually completely transfigure to just Pleiadian code, so you're able to transition home to your home star. This is part of the reconfiguration that's happening in our genetics, in our DNA, and within our light body. So everything is in place to be able to move through these steps, these stages, to begin to transition back to our original galactic soul home star. And that's very exciting as well. Debra.
Wow, thank you, Meg. Thank you. All right. And again, there's much more. So I hope you stay with us.
This is just an overview.
Yeah. But last section, we definitely want to go into the divine human in the new earth. So what we're talking about is what we're in process now is unifying and creating and evolving towards the new earth. And this has been predicted forever with spiritual traditions, with the indigenous as the golden age, the second coming of Christ, warriors of the rainbow prophecy, the Sata Yuga, the age of Aquarius. Of course, the Mayans predicted the earth would align directly with the photon band and the central sun. And this is what we're actually doing. And I want to emphasize that this is the organic ascension timeline, which is different from what we're seeing in our world now, that we will get beyond the transhuman agenda. This is not using technology to do it. This is the organic ascension and evolution into the new earth. So a few of the points here are, we will all be living in the awakened state, in Christ consciousness, in the frequency and love, and all is one. Can you imagine what it's like to live in a world where everyone is just in the frequency of love all the time? And our bodies are going to be at a much less dense vibration, a much higher vibration. And we will have access to all our memories. You know how now we have an amnesia. We don't know where we came from. We don't know where we're going. We will be empowered to be able to have those memories and utilize those memories. We are going to communicate telepathically and be able to communicate with each other like that. So honesty is a given policy in that, because you're not going to be able to hide with lies. That's not even going to be a part of what this is. And you'll be able to instantly manifest. Like I said before, you'll be able to think and create. Money's not going to be the same. We're not going to have this piles of money that some people have and some people don't. It will be an exchange of energy, and people will be doing their mission and doing their righteousness. And there's actually going to be a renaissance of creativity, of art, of manifestation, and it will be abundant and fun. And we will also finally have awareness that we are not the only things in the universe, and we will actually join the many civilizations and become part of the galactic councils on a conscious level, which this is happening somewhat now, but we will, as a species, be aware and be relating to the other galactic star families that are out there that are assisting us now. We will be consciously a part of it. And love, compassion, peace, and harmony reign supreme at all times. So that's what life is going to be. So, Meg, can you share a little bit more about the New Earth? You actually were fully aware of it. Your website is New Earth Central, so you knew way back when you got your website 30 years ago, whenever, 20 years ago, that's what this is about. Yeah.
Yes, it was definitely, you know, when it really hit home, Debra, is when I read Eckhart Tolle's book, New Earth. And this was, I think it came out around 98. It was right at the tail end of the 90s. And I'm reading this going, oh my God, this is what I'm being shown, right? You know, this is like it was just kind of like a big aha moment. I was reading his book of how he's describing it. And I'm thinking, okay, this is real. I'm not just imagining this. This is actually happening. Let's start building it. And so it is a movement in a way, you know, this New Earth movement. It's a new operating system, as I mentioned. And it's at first, when I first started working with it, I was guided in 2008 to start a private membership, and we met every month and we kept working on the hologram of the New Earth and building it and creating it and envisioning it, and then using in a way our own body to anchor it here and get this thing up and running and active for everyone to be able to join us in it. So it is now, of course, that's so many years ago. Now it's fully active, and it is so different. As Debra was describing, it's such a different reality than what we were born into and what we're kind of still witnessing. So many people are still in the old earth, the old system. But I'm going to just pull up. I put together a few little slides from my courses on this. So first, we're talking phase 4, becoming a divine human in the New Earth. So this is our goal. Okay, you're like, okay, what's my agenda? Where am I heading? This is the goal. This is what we're working so hard to experience. So this is activating the dormant galactic code and bioenergetics designed for living and thriving as divine humans in the New Earth. There's been a lot of time where I would go into trance state and I would start to kind of like bilocate and jump into the original civilization of the divine human thousands and thousands of years ago. It was seeded by the 12 tribes of the great central sun. So 12 star systems created this very 12th dimensional, 12 strand DNA human. And they weren't dense like we are now, right? They were, in a way, their whole field was morphing and responding to the consciousness that flowed through them in every moment. Think about that. How would that be to live? That just blows my mind. I'd be watching this like my little observer, right? On the sidelines, watching this going, oh my goodness. Okay, I want to live like that again. So that's part of our goal. So as spirit particulates right into the atoms of physical matter, it's encoded with a genetic framework or artery network consisting of ley lines or pathways for energy to flow through. And this is a pulsing, thriving extension of bioelectricity. When you're not feeling anything, that's probably not lit up too much. That's why we want to keep bringing in soul energy to power this up. I feel it all the time. I can feel my force field all around me. This is where you really start to live and breathe and create and love and relate, as a powerful electrical magnetic being, right? Powerful force field. This human electromagnetic field, it's patterned on the universal model of interlocking pathways. As I mentioned, the galactic overlay grid, it's called a grid flex, the galactic grid flex. This is exactly what's out there and what's in here. So it's pathways or conduits of consciousness traveling through us, and then from us to higher dimensional planes, and then back to us. Okay, we talk about unity consciousness. That's what's happening. You're starting to reintegrate with this galactic universal ley line of vibrant source field. How's that? That's like everything's available to you. It's infinite possibilities in the quantum field available to you. And it's all in you to do this. Your human bioenergetics is receptive of universal intelligence or consciousness through the photons, right? Our little shuttle buses. And as humans evolve, they will be able to transfer consciousness along this multidimensional biocircuitry network as telepathic beings. I think we're already starting to get there. How many times have you just felt somebody and then they call you, right? This is already starting to happen. We're already in training. We're already tuning in. It's called non-locality in the quantum field, where the photons are humming and vibrating and they're talking to each other. And we start to pick this up. We start to live from that higher awareness as telepathic beings. And then, of course, our new home. Our new home is this new hologram. It's this new earth realm. It replicates this circular inflow, outflow, right, of the torus and of the quantum continuum. So we're always being sourced, right? We become self-sourcing our own field, inflow, outflow. You never have lack. That doesn't even exist in the new earth, right? You've got this beautiful circular torus, inflow, outflow, so self-sustaining you. It's how the whole universe operates. In a way, we've been in a planetary system that's non-organic. It's not how the universe operates. So we're moving back into how the natural flow and rhythm of the universe operates. And this new earth operating system, it's the circular torus momentum of renewable energy Debra mentioned about, where we stop aging because you're in a continuum, right? A self-sourcing flow of regenerative energy. You begin to live beyond the physics of kind of the 3 dimensions, right? You're no longer in the laws of time anymore. You're fueled by light and love frequencies. You're not polarized, you're now balanced and harmonious. It's a very harmonious, holistic system of coherence. This is so important. Heart coherence is how we access the 5th dimension and higher. So we're replacing these very out of balance hierarchies, power systems that we were born into with these circular communities of collaboration and coherence. We're already seeing this happen. I even just happened to see an ad. It was at Cambridge University in England, and it was called The Circular Economy. I was like, bingo, all right, it's already happening. This is getting out there. This is replacing the top-down power structure in the corporate world or in the education system. And we also see this, unfortunately, in the new age spiritual communities. It's kind of like the old guru system, right? The top-down hierarchy. We're moving beyond that, you guys. We're advancing and evolving beyond having to be inferior to someone who's placed themselves as superior and controlling the whole system. So we're moving into the circle of light. I would see Arthur in the round table, right? We're joining the round table. Everyone is bringing their specialty and we're all contributing. Everyone has their own unique role. You could have someone who has the role as leader or organizer or manager, but they're all at the same equitable balance at the round table. So everyone has their role that they contribute. None is superior or inferior to the other. This is what unity consciousness creates. So everyone who's living in the New Earth timeline, you start to be inspired to create and fulfill a win-win environment for the whole team, right? The whole tribe, the greater community. We don't make decisions anymore without actually adding that piece in. Well, then how does this affect the greater good? So there's where we move from me to we. We begin to have compassion for all life on the planet, and how am I affecting the world? How am I affecting the field? How am I influencing the field? These become your awarenesses and kind of your guiding light, because you're now living from that heart center, soul, leading you forward on their path of light. So the new earth, how do we access it? It's vibrational. So the more that you get into ascend into higher and higher vibration, the more that you shift from ego hierarchy into heart circular community, you begin to move into it and magnetize it to you. And we'll go through some protocols in the coming workshops to really give you some practical steps that you can work with to shift in and live in the new earth as a divine human, because that's our goal. Debra.
Thank you, Meg, again. I just love listening to her. I always have. It just opens up my knowing, basically. What you say allows me to know so much more of what I already know. I'm just remembering.
It's remembering. That's right.
So we're going to get to the activation real soon here, because that's going to be a really powerful part. And I do want to invite people again to sign up for the series so you can join us in program 2 and program 3, which is going to be live March 9th and 16th. And of course, all of this is on replay. So it's wonderful to have you with us live, but you can watch it anytime you want. So sign up on ascensionrevealed.com if you want to join us, if you haven't already signed up. We'd love you to be with us. And again, we're going to go in real deep, and we'll have much more time for questions during that time, because we'll have the whole time to go over section 1 and 2 in program 2 and section 3 and 4 in program 4. So we'll have much more time. So we don't have too much time for questions. And there's our beautiful graphics. I want to acknowledge our assistant, Lindsay, who is creating the beautiful graphics of our Ascension Tips and Ascension Revealed program. So you go to ascensionrevealed.com. But I do want to take a couple questions, and we will save these questions for later too. One question comes from Robin, and she wanted tips on getting out of the dark night of the soul. And she feels like she'll never have a connection again to deep joy again. And she's done tons of work like me, and nothing seems to work to bring back joy. And I just want to share that sometimes as you're going through this process, it can seem like a long road. When I was in my dark night, it went on and on. It felt forever, because first I lost my relationship, and that was really sad, but it was really for my higher purpose. And then I lost all my money, so it came in 3 stages, and that allowed me to really not be dependent on that, but to really learn how to manifest beyond being dependent on money and so many other things. And then losing the Harmony Festival. So it was really like a 3 to 4 to 5 year process. And coming out was like, will I ever get out of it? But I just want to say, everything goes in cycles, and you will get out of it, and you will start to build your life back, and everything will come back to you. So just hang in there and continue to do your work. A lot of times it's really good to work with someone. Like I've always had Ascension guides and Ascension teachers to continue to clear and continue to understand, and just hang in there, because I also thought that too. And at one point, I just felt like I knew I was starting to come back. So I actually had a party and a ritual that brought my key people in my life back and declared I was complete with this phase, and that I was now going into rebuilding my life. And I actually made this declaration to the universe and my community. Actually, about 100 people showed up for that ritual that I created, which was amazing. But you can just do this for yourself. So for everyone that's going through the challenges now, yes, it's challenging, because things are getting destroyed that are not of the higher function, and we are rebuilding. So I just want to say, hang in there, join with others, and just keep going and stay connected with us, because we support you, and we know, because you're here, that you're on the ascension path, and everything will come back into you. So
I'd like to add on that real quick too. In a way, we have to go through the breakdown to have the breakthrough. And so what's happening is really just where the human psyche ego is still trying to hold on to what was, and the soul is trying to pull you forward into the new. And so the longer that we hold on, the more pain it causes. So the more that you can kind of just go, all right, I surrender to what is moving through me, And I found that energies don't release until we really get the wisdom of them. So whatever you're feeling, if it's grief, if it's rage, whatever, despair, ask what it needs to fulfill itself, to complete itself, so it can release. And I found the more that I just work with my energy in that way, it's more responsive, right? And then you can begin to go into that breakthrough where all the new can start to open up. So even if you're feeling the despair and you're feeling the emptiness, the void, the loss of, because you're feeling the loss of what's ending, right? What's completing, what's breaking down. It is really, that's what it is. It's real. That's hard. That's really hard for the human to go through. It's just heartbreaking. But as Debra said, see if you can have someone, at least one person, be with you as you go through that loss and go through the breakdown and letting it all go, because in a way you're opening your field for the new, the divine, the soul, the light to come into you. And that's when everything starts to improve.
Right. And one more question here, Meg, from Patricia. She's really interested and so motivated and drawn to topics of ascension and transformation. But she finds herself holding back from meditations because she doesn't want to lose control as she goes out of her body and has an out-of-body experience. So how do you coach people around that?
Yeah, so we don't want to go out of the body. I had to learn this one the hard way, because I was like, okay, I'm just going out into the ethers, out into the galaxy. I would lose weekends. I'd be gone and I'd wake up, and come in and it's like pitch dark outside. I'm like, oh my God, where have I been? And I started to get, the finger shaken from Metatron is like, you need to stop leaving your body. And I was like, why? And there's a couple of reasons. One, you're leaving your body open to astral interference. And that was what was happening. I was getting attacked by astral shadow beings and this kind of stuff. Also, when you're not in your body, you have zero magnetism. So how are you going to even draw in anything that supports you if you're abandoning the body? If you're also hanging up in your mind, you're abandoning your body. So meditation, just start really simple. I get out of bed and I actively lock my feet chakras onto the crystalline grid of the new earth. And I say, I'm home. This is my home. I choose to live in the new earth. I'm moving my energy into the new earth. I'm grounding and I'm staying in my heart solar plexus. You're going to stay in your core. No more up in the mind 24/7 or out into the astral plane. Stay in your core, stay in. And if it helps, that's why I had to do breath work to actually get into my core. Get in. You can do Kundalini yoga. There's so many things you can do. Doesn't have to take a lot of money. There's lots of stuff you can do to be in your core center, be in your body, so that then you're feeling what needs help. You're feeling what needs to be transmuted. You're feeling what needs to be healed. You're present. You're starting to build your magnetism so you can begin to pull in what supports you. So meditation is, I'm just, how I was guided through all these years with Metatron, is not to leave your body. Meditation is to get in your body and get still and get present and feel and pay attention and tune in as the observer.
Beautiful. Thank you, Meg. And we're going to get so much more into questions in number 2 and 3, but I want to use the time we have left for the activation, because this is really the most special part of what we're going to be sharing with you. And Ascension activations have been a really big part of my ascension process. The first time I had one, I really felt my whole body opening up and light coming through every single circuitry and kind of breaking through the denseness and really opened up. And I remember there was a time, Meg, where we were both going through huge activations that really transformed and went on for days even.
You do.
So this is an important part, is to let the energy and the connection and the meditation work it. So again, Meg is a master at this. So we're going to go for about 10 minutes with this activation. And what's really important too is if you're listening to the replay, even though you're not with us live, it's just as potent because it's in the quantum field. So we are doing this at that level where it is going to be very potent for you no matter when you do it. And again, connecting, we have still 100 people on with us, and all of us connecting by heart and by spirit as we do this is really powerful too. So that's part of it.
It amplifies it. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes.
Okay, so for those who are real quick, I'm going to give you a real quick few steps. We're working with Metatron's Ascension gift. This is the tool that I've been using the whole 30 years, and it's been exponentially taking me through so fast. So it's using Metatron's cube as an activation template under your grounding, under your feet. I'm going to help put that there for you. And then it will open up as an anti-clockwise vortex. It's called the quantum vortex. And it runs right to left. Okay. Right, front, back, left, right to left, anti-clockwise spin. When you're inside a vortex, it will begin to help you with your Merkaba Taurus, right? With your light body. It's going to help you clear energies out, and it's going to help bring the light in, bring the soul presence in. So that's what we're going to focus on today. And then we'll get into even more detailed protocols in workshop 2 and 3. Okay, so we've been talking and thinking, let's just take a couple deep breaths. We're just going to come into the core. Right? We've been talking about getting in the body, getting into the core. We're just starting to drop from the thinking mind, begin to feel into your sensory body, into the heartbeat, into the breath. So you're getting centered into your core center, into the body. And we're going to run the chi down the leg channels to the feet chakras. And this is what I do every morning. Ground your feet chakras. Think of them like magnets. You're going to just lock your feet chakras right onto the crystalline grid of our new earth. Crystalline grid is right on the top surface of Gaia, right? It's interlocking ley lines, crystalline grid. So feet chakras, magnets locking right onto the crystalline grid. There we go. I already feel we're starting to do it. Whew. Like you're kind of dropping down into your hips and your pelvic floor, dropping into your root, feet grounding onto the crystal grid. Okay, let's connect to spirit. So from the heart, we connect to Mother, Father, Source. Connecting to your original galactic master soul and soul family, your soul group, and your home star. Calling in your spirit team of angels and guides and master teachers, shamans, the elders, your protectors. Have them circle around you as we're doing this activation, supporting you. Connecting to Gaia and to Mother Nature and the nature spirits, calling in the devas, the fairies, the elementals, so we can do this activation with our beloved Archangel Metatron, who steps in and is placing Metatron's cube, sacred geometry template under your feet in your grounding. It's made of outer 6 circles, inner 6 circles, a central 13th circle. We're going to step our feet magnets right onto the center circle of Metatron's cube, activating it with our own light, our own life force, our own chi. There we go. It starts to turn it on. Ooh, and those 12 circles start to rise up like beams of light, like pillars of light. And they're humming and they're toning and they're vibrating, they're pulsing with the 12-dimensional harmonic tones that we hear with our human ears as the sacred sounds of Om. And so as there's beams of light, they're pulsing, vibrating with Om. They begin to rotate around your aura, right to left, anti-clockwise spin. We're just going to get them starting to accelerate, spinning them faster and faster. There we go. Those beams of light begin to blur and merge and blend and become a vortex of diamond white light spinning around your body and your aura. Okay, there it goes. And as it's accelerating faster, it's starting to open and expand your field up and out into the higher dimensions. Opening out, expanding. Your feet are still locked onto the earth grid, staying grounded. Woo. Woo, there it goes. Opens, opens, opens. And now we're going to go even faster, spinning towards the speed of light, starting to collapse the energetic veils and separation membranes and time barriers, and just let those drop out, opening all the way out to the quantum level. Woo, there it goes. Ripples through. Woo. And this allows us access to both the physical realm and the spiritual realm simultaneously. All right, we got it. And we can come inside now and focus inside to our light body, to our chakra pillar running right up the center of your light body. Everyone come in, focus inside to your chakra pillar. All right, we got it. And now we're going to bring rising up from Metatron's cube. It's called the resurrection spiral. Again, it's right to left, anti-clockwise, but it's a tighter spiral coming all the way up to your root chakra and starting to spiral up your chakra channel. We begin to clear. Okay, we're doing our first release, our first clearing, starting to clear density, emotion, trauma, memory out of the chakra centers, out of the chakra pillar. It's rising higher and higher. We're going to go all the way up to the top, 12th chakra, all the way up to our higher self at the top of the chakra pillar, 12th chakra. Woo, there we go. Oh, good. Up here is where we connect to our divine higher self. I always do like a heart-to-heart bond, heart-to-heart connection with the higher self. Your higher self is your guardian and your gatekeeper of your channel. And so as the higher self's up at the top of the channel, your pillar, it's opening that 12th gate to the Godhead, to divinity, to your divine soul energy. And let's lock on. Each and every one of us to our unique soul energy are made of light and sound. So connecting to your unique soul signature light and your sound waves, your tones, your harmonics, your vibrations, your frequencies. There you go. Get a lock. Soul light frequencies. All right. As we focus on it, we're going to reverse and bring it back down the chakra pillar like a big stream of soul light frequencies. This is called the inflow. Breathe in, pull it down in, open through the crown, flow soul light frequencies into your chakra pillar. Breathe it in, filling up inside. Fill your pillar of light with soul energy, soul light frequencies. Ooh, yeah, good, strong, down to the lower human chakras, to the root pelvic floor. You want your whole pillar of light lit up with your soul light. Ooh, and your soul vibration. I always see the soul light as kind of a shimmering golden white light. I see source light as the diamond white light, the full spectrum of light. Soul light's more of a kind of golden white light. Now it's filling your pillar. There you go. It really vibrates and radiates and pulses inside you. Now let's work on the light body. Okay, so we're going to send a stream of soul light frequencies into the heart center where the Merkaba torus overlaps, right? Upward tetrahedron, overlapping downward tetrahedron of your Merkaba geometry. Right in the center of that, where they overlap, is the crystal heart template. So we're sending the soul light frequencies right into the heart crystal, center of the Merkaba. And it goes right in, and crystals amplify the light, and it begins to increase and power up like a big starburst of soul light rays in all directions from the heart crystal. Ooh, let that blast. Ooh, getting stronger, good. This is what runs your torus. This is the engine that fuels your torus, your circular operating system. Ooh, it's getting stronger in the heart crystal. Keep amping it, fueling it, streaming your soul light frequencies into it. And you can do this every day. Vortex is spinning it into you, taking it deep into you. So we just did a few steps. We did the resurrection spiral to open up the channel. We did the soul descending down and in. We're pumping soul energy, soul light frequencies into all your chakra centers and into your Merkaba torus, into your heart crystal. Allow the heart crystal to pulse your soul light rays throughout your whole light body, starting to turn it on more, activate it. There we go. It's like you're giving fuel to it. Energize it with your soul light. It's running in all the biocircuitries that are open. Ooh, there we go. And let's really direct it now into your core center, where I mentioned the blueprint is waiting for activation. So we're sending more of the soul light frequencies into the blueprint. It's kind of like a motherboard to the main computer, just like flooding it. There we go. Breathe that in. Soul light frequencies, activating more of your soul blueprint for your ascension life, your ascension plan, your ascension mission. Ooh, that's good. Let's charging up. Breathe that in, fire it up, turn it on, activate more of your soul blueprint. And then this leads us forward from the heart center. Our soul leads us from the heart. Our blueprint guides us from the core, and our heart magnetism engages with the quantum field around us. Ooh, okay, here we go. It's starting to spin in and ground in. So let's start to use the vortex now to spin inwards. All the activations to come in from the quantum field into the physical body. You can tap on your arms, your legs as you're spinning it deep, deep in, pulling it in, grounding it in, making it physical, making it earthbound. Ooh, there it goes, updating the RNA and DNA. Ooh, and then as your feet magnets lock into the crystal grid, it allows you to keep light running in your light body without blowing your circuits, right? You're grounding all that electrical current we just brought into the light body. There it goes, locks in, grounds in, takes hold. Ooh. Ah, settles in, integrates in, merging with you, coming one with you. And as that settles in, that completes our activation for today. And so it is. So it is.
Beautiful, Meg. Thank you so much. I experience so much, perceive so much of my body and my energies when I do those activations with you, and we do it all together. So much.
Really at the quantum level. You can do the replay as often as you like to continue to strengthen and activate more of your light body. And your soul connection, so important. Merging that soul in.
Thank you so much. So this has been great. This is an idea that Meg and I had that we wanted to share with you, and I'm so happy now that this has been created and is the beginning of our 3-part program. I appreciate you so much, Meg.
Thank
your
you, Debra.
wisdom and your clarity.
Thank you.
And I appreciate the partnership, and I appreciate all of you that are joining us live, and everyone on the replay, and everyone that's going to see it. Our goal is really to assist people in this process that are waking up to understand what's going on, and support them so we can all journey to the new earth and build the new earth together. So
we are in this together. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So thank you all, and sending you so much love, and hope to see you again, and much more to come.
Yeah. Love to you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.